I'm a single mom with 2 boys. I grew up in the Sault, and my whole family was from here. In the late 80s, there were no jobs, so I moved down to Southern Ontario, worked down there in an office administration position until I became a mom. In all, I spent 21 years in Southern Ontario. I moved back to the Sault 7 years ago because of a major life change. My boys were quite a bit younger. They really didn't know Sault Ste. Marie because they had only had quick visits in the past. Having my family in the Sault was helpful. It was the reason we decided to come back here. My younger sibling and dad came and brought us home. I needed to find a place to live, so I stayed at my siblings' home. It's difficult staying with family. I spent a month and a half there, but they lived in a small house and had a big family. There was very little room for 3 more people. They loved us dearly, but living in close quarters has a tendency to make people angry. I couldn't find a place of my own, and there weren't a lot of rentals in the city. It was an acquaintance of my family who said they had a cabin about an hour north of the city. I needed something fast, so I said okay. The problem is that I don't drive, so I had to rely on friends to take me in and out of town for groceries or appointments, and I had to give them as much notice as possible. The kids and I stayed in that cabin from October to March. It was the coldest winter. I kept looking for a place. Some of the options were horrible. I finally found an apartment in town and moved. It was way too small. A 2-room apartment for 3 people? 2 boys in a room. Looked like an episode of Hoarders. There was just no room, and they had the master bedroom. We were still on a waiting list for Sault Ste. Marie housing. I was a year and 3 months in the small apartment before housing could find a suitable place for us. Once a 3-bedroom place came up, I took it, and that's where I am now. I also went to Northland Learning Centre, upgrading computer courses. I did that for about a year or so. I heard on the radio about a program called TIOW, which is the Targeted Initiative for Older Workers over 50. It was office training, which I used to do. Since I was out of the workforce for so long, I thought it would be perfect for me. I contacted Employment Solutions, and they got everything set up for me and organized the financing for it. So, now I'm taking a 17-week office administration course at PTC, a progressive training course. I'm almost halfway through. My OW worker helped out where she could. My worker recognized my efforts, and I was thrilled about that. I'm graduating soon, and I want to find an office-based job. But my prime goal is getting a new place to live in. I'm still looking. The place I have is okay, but not ideal. I've been there for 4 years now, going on 5. But I want to get a nicer place. If you can find the right place in housing, it can work. In some cases, it's not good, depending on the neighbors and the area of town. But it got me out of the cabin and on my way. In my future, I just want to work at a job I like, find a new place to live, and be able to focus on my kids. I can see myself crying when my babies graduate from school. They're grounded, respectful, and don't get into trouble. My kids are everything. That's where I focus. I'm always open to challenges and changes, even raising kids and going to school. They're all steps in a forward direction. My kids understand. My oldest son admires me. He told me that I'm often my own worst critic. Every time a challenge comes up, my oldest says, "You can do this, Mom." They're my moral support. When I was 12, I remember my dad telling me that he felt sorry for any person who gets up every day and hates their job. He loved working. That's what I'm trying to find.